you don't need to go to the gym after a day using that thing. Just taking a break for a minute after pounding in these 4 posts with that post pounder. So I pounded in these 4 here. So I got 1, 2, 3, and that 4th one there. And I pounded in 3 more up on top. So I put in 7 posts here in this little section just because a whole bunch of these other posts are rotted off and leaning over. So this is one of my neighbor's post pounder, and I'm just borrowing it from him because I want to build my own, and I wanted to try his out first before I built my own, and then I can make adjustments to the one I build. Because it works pretty good. I almost want the one I build just to be a little bit heavier, just so I got more force coming down on some of these bigger posts. I need to weigh this and see exactly what it weighs, but I imagine it's around 40 pounds, 45 pounds, I'd guess. Maybe a little bit lighter, I don't know. It feels heavier when you're using it, but. So we made it out of this old pipe. So the inside diameter's about just a little over 6 inches, pretty close to 6.5 inches inside diameter. Yeah, it's pretty close to 6.5. About 6 3/8 is what it looks like. It's 31 inches tall. And for the handles, he just used these old S-tines, make pretty nice handles, and then, you know, welded a pretty thick steel plate here on top. Almost looks like 1/2 inch steel plate. I guess maybe 3/8. Yeah, about 3/8 inch steel plate on top here. But it seems to work pretty good. It's definitely a workout, but the ground isn't too hard and dry yet. I don't know once you got later into the summer if it would work, just once the ground got hard. You can definitely tell the difference in post size when you're driving them in. I've kind of got an assortment here of posts that I'm using. But these ones here, I think this one here is just about 3-inch post. This one went in pretty easy. This one here, that one's about 3.5. This one up here though, I believe is about 4 inches. So that one's about, yeah, 4.5 inches this one is. That one took a little bit more willpower to get it in. And I drove one of these bigger ones in this morning, and these are about 5 inches, between 5 and 6. Some of these bigger ones are. And then bigger posts, those 5-6 inchers, they take a couple breaks to get them all the way in. So I feel like I've almost been living up here on this range fence for the last couple weeks. So I haven't really been filming a whole lot, just because it's all pretty much the same, just fixing fence, pounding in posts, stapling wire, splicing wire. The mosquitoes are coming out now. This last week it's warming up. So once I get these last couple posts stapled up, I'm done with these first couple allotments, and I couldn't have cut it much closer than what I did because the cows are coming up here in the next 2 days, or so in 2 days from today they'll be coming up here, so we cut it pretty close. There's a lot of work up here though. I haven't added up my hours, but I know I've spent at least 100 hours up here between this allotment and the ones that we started on earlier, you know, a couple weeks ago on that let down fence, you know, from that last video. But this is the big rush. Once I get these allotments done, I've got a couple more stretches of fence after this, but I don't have to worry about them until like 6 weeks from Thursday. I'll have to worry about the other one, but I'm gonna keep going on them, just knock them out this spring, just so I'm not having to worry about them once we get going with hay season. So for anyone curious on which sections of fence we finished this spring, so we did this section here along the highway on Tin Cup. We did this let down section here. So this one is about 3 miles. I think this one was almost 1.5 miles. And then we did this whole section here in the reseed. Then this little jog off here we also did. And I can't remember exactly how many, but this is 3.5, 4 miles with all this here. So what's that, almost around 8 miles, I guess, the fence that we've done so far. I'd have to look at my notes to be exact, but I think we're around 8 miles of fence that we've done. So all we've got left is, there's a little fence line that comes off this corner and it comes up this way just a little ways. I don't think it's more than half mile, maybe a mile, and then it just ends. Then we have this yellow jacket fence here that tees into this reseeding fence that we've been working on, and it goes this way, kind of the same thing that just ends right up here. So we got, we still got some more fence to do, but we've got the majority of it done, luckily. I've still got some braces I need to come back and build, just a few things like that, some odds and ends. But we've knocked out a good chunk of that. But we've knocked out a pretty good chunk of this fence so far this spring, and let's keep picking away at it. The alfalfa's starting to come up pretty nice. We just need to get a little bit of heat on it. So I'm taking a break from the range fence this morning, and this is what I'm working on today. When we turned on our pivots and our wool lines the other day, we had a leak in our buried line. So it's just the big irrigation line that supplies all the water to your pivots and sprinklers. And the leak was in a T similar to this one. I think some of the metal had rusted out, so we need to put this new one in there. So I got to weld these couplers onto here, this one, then we got to neck this one down to a 4-inch, so I had to weld all these pieces on here. So got a lot of welding to do. Before I start welding, I'm going to bevel these joints just to give me better penetration with the weld. So I'm going to get the grinder going and bevel all these joints here. Well, I got all these joints beveled out, then I cleaned up some of the edges of the pipe, just took away all that mill scale, and trying to make this as clean as possible. Just with something as critical as this is, I want to make sure I do my best job on it. So I think we're ready to start welding, so we'll weld it up and pray that it doesn't leak. So for anybody wondering, I did take the gaskets out of these couplers there just so I didn't get any weld sparks or melt these at all. Well, it's definitely not pipeline quality, but I don't think it'll leak. And that's all we really care about. So it looks like I got pretty good penetration on the inside too, the pipe, so I think we'll be sitting in pretty good shape with no leaks. At least I hope so. So this piece here, this T, elbow, T, whatever you want to call it here, is what we're replacing. So we're gonna have to finagle things a little bit because we've got a straight T, and this is kind of, I don't know, you'd call it like an offset 90 or not offset T. I don't know what you'd call that. But yeah, that's what we're having to replace, is that. So we got this all hooked up. So next we need to figure out how we want to support this T and how we want to backfill this. And we'll be able to pressure test it and see how it works. Hopefully it doesn't have any leaks. So here's the old one. And that's where the leak was. Right there. This is that 4-way that we planted earlier this spring. It's coming up pretty nice, looking pretty good in here. We couldn't get in that swale earlier because there's so much water still in there. It's still pretty muddy and swampy in there, so not sure what we'll do with that this year. So we got to cross Tin Cup here to get to this last field where we're going to work. There's a new crossing Randall put in, so we're going to see how it works. You watching too, buddy? Yeah, so hopefully Grandpa doesn't go for a swim. Well, that worked out pretty good. Lisa, look out, come on. So we got the tractor across the river and the harrows, and Dad's gonna work on this tonight. Alice and I are gonna walk up to Randall's, and Lindsay's gonna come pick us up. It's starting to get a little bit tall down here, but we just couldn't, we had a hard time getting across Tin Cup because Tin Cup was so high this spring with the high water from the flooding and the snow melt. So we're a little late getting out here, but it seems like hopefully it'll work up all right. Run, 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 run. Well, you guys, that's gonna about do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.